Journalists have the crucial duty to hold accountable those in power. Think government officials, law enforcement, and public figures, and keep the public, you and me, informed. The fear of censorship and retaliation is at an all-time high because there is no solid protection for journalists and their sources at the federal level. Journalists have the responsibility of protecting their sources, especially when those sources are whistleblowers who take a huge risk in exposing wrongdoing by those with power. Often called anonymous sources, they are known by the journalist, but the journalist has promised to keep their identity hidden in exchange for important information that would otherwise not come to light. Without a shield law, journalists are sometimes threatened with lawsuits or even jail time for not divulging their sources. The Press Act is a bipartisan federal shield law that would protect journalists' source confidentiality. Subject to common sense exceptions such as cases involving terrorism, other serious emergencies, or journalists suspected of crimes. The bill would protect journalists against most government efforts to uncover their sources through phone and email records. The Press Act defines a journalist as someone who gathers, prepares, collects, photographs, records, writes, edits, reports, or publishes news or information that involves news events or other matters of public interest for dissemination to the public. This protection makes it more likely that the public will learn important information, sometimes life-saving or life-changing information that would otherwise not come to light. The Press Act is bipartisan and would protect the rights of all journalists regardless of their employer, including freelancers. The House passed earlier versions of the legislation in 2022 and 2007, but those bills never moved past the Senate. Currently, most states have some form of reporter source confidentiality, but the Press Act would be the first federal shield law of its kind. If you agree that the Press Act should be passed, find your senator's website or social media accounts and encourage them to vote in favor of this legislation. Federal protection for journalists is protection for all. If you are a journalist in need of legal assistance, contact the SPJ Legal Defense Fund Committee.